I sat down earlier with Bill Barr, President Trump's former attorney general, who is only the second American to serve in that role twice, under President Bush 41 and then under a very different president, 45, whose book, the title, he says, accurately describes his second term, one damn thing after another. But our conversation began with what's going on in Ukraine and what this longtime observer, whose career started at the CIA, thinks pushed Putin to war. One of the things that I wanted to ask you off the bat, because you say some really interesting things about Ukraine, and one of the things that has struck me lately is that all of these tangents, whether it's Russia collusion or Hunter Biden and Burisma or the Zelensky phone call, it all, even though a lot of it was hyped up or false, it stems back, it's rooted in Ukraine's desire to be part of NATO and Russia's desire to be sure that that never happened.
Right.
So here we are now. What do you think about that?
I actually think that Russiagate not only was a great political injustice to Trump, where he was the victim of that, but I think it set the stage for what we're seeing right now. Because I think our chief enemy or our chief rival and the danger going forward is China. And it was not in our interest to have China and Russia together and try to face the two of them, or to drive Russia toward China. And everyone understood that. And over the term of the Trump administration, optimally what should have happened was engaging with the Russians to see if we could reach some modus vivendi through diplomacy. But the Russiagate scandal really, or pseudo-scandal, really prevented Trump from doing that.
But you said at one point, and obviously this is before everything happened that we've seen over the past 2 weeks, the prospect of Russian tanks rolling to the English Channel, a realistic scenario during the Cold War, is just not plausible now. Russia's leaders no longer promote a revolutionary ideology that foreordains general antagonism with the West.
The Russians will not dominate Europe, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to engage in the kind of aggression that they are against smaller countries and countries they want to reabsorb into the Russian bloc. So I think that is true. That's why I say the real danger is in Asia, where China's position in Asia is much stronger than Russia's position in Europe. And frankly, right now, I mean, this is obviously a mistake by Putin because his military is not performing very well. I think Russia has been very diminished in the eyes of the world.
You also say that a wavering and intermittently alert President Biden may give Putin the space to, quote, pursue Russian strategic goals more assertively. Given Biden's manifest weaknesses, Putin is likely to feel he's better off making no concessions at all.
Right. So, Trump's hands were tied by the Russiagate scandal. Biden had a free, he could have freely started working on the Russian issue. But I think once Putin saw Afghanistan, and I think he thought Biden was weak anyway. And then when Biden killed the American energy industry and made us no longer energy independent, which then increased Russia's leverage dramatically in the world, he felt he could just get what he wants by pushing Biden around. This
is a moment between President Trump and the Ukraine President Zelensky, who, of course, everyone is now very familiar with. This is September 25th, 2019. Let's watch.
I really believe that President Putin would like to do something. I really hope that you and President Putin get together and can solve your problem. That would be a tremendous achievement. And I know you're trying to do that.
Maybe it was just too antagonistic, but I don't think there was a sufficient effort. The other thing is, when Biden came in, this giving of planes through Poland is, pretty hinky thing. I mean, it could get out of hand. The time to have done that was when Biden came in to deter an attack. He wanted to deter the Russians. He should have given them the airplanes then. So I think this administration has dropped the ball and invited this kind of aggression. But there's no off-ramp for Putin at this point. And he's facing, I think, a very humiliating endgame here. And I don't know how he's going to react to that.
There's a real threat of nuclear war?
Personally, I don't think there's that much of a threat of a nuclear
war.
Why? Because that would mean, the extinction of both the Russians and the American people, and I don't think Putin would go that far.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.